Who created the stoplight? Name them. You can't.
That's actually a pretty, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's like, dude, you want to be so big that it's so influential on the society that it's just normality and you don't even know.
Right.
Like, who created the stoplight? I mean, he's like, he didn't want to be known for Yeezy. I mean, think about it. Like, when you think about personal development, I mean, Tony Robbins is one of the key people that comes to mind, but a lot of people don't. They've heard of Jim Rohn, but they probably don't know who it is.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's just the staple for that era. I mean, and he's well known, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Dude, those are pretty dope. Those look pretty good on you. I probably look like a buffoon.
You look good.
Yeah, right. Holy crap! The topo. What happened? What fell?
Oh, nothing. It's totally good.
Oh.
It's just
The rail came off.
yeah.
You don't need it.
Trying to get this thing.
Oh, it just pops on.
Yeah, it just pops on and off. No, I'm just trying to get this mic to where I'm like satisfied with its positioning. I feel like there's another adjustment here that I'm.
I feel like these people are about to witness something that
epic.
You know, yeah, I mean,
epic. It's the genesis of something major.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what?
Oh yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is I think a lot of people make podcasts and they suck. And what would you call this, Caelin? This isn't a podcast.
No, so I thought about that with doing all of this because I'm not really ready to launch a podcast.
Right.
That there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Are you recording this right now?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
I've already started. Actually, I'm kind of doing this, and I did that to face the camera, and I'm like, I really want to be looking at you more.
Right.
So now I'm like,
well, now we got to change
really like that placement.
Now I've got to change my whole bit. I mean,
yeah, we don't have to actually watch ourselves in the screen. I should probably turn that off.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to. You just want to set it up in a way that is better because that's going to be super distracting. We'll have to read some of these comments every now and then, just in case there's something we need to address. Maybe Caelin, ask the people watching you on Instagram if they can hear you well.
That's way too far.
What's that? The Instagram?
Yeah. Well, no, the phone to read if they want to watch.
Oh yeah, you'd have to get up and read it.
This is poor design, man. Either that or it's just what they make instruction manuals for, and I did. Well, not read it.
It doesn't bolt together. It just sits on top.
Yeah, it's just magnetic, I guess.
What?
I know.
I mean, I don't know.
Let me.
Seems pretty good. I think it's nice.
Can y'all hear this at all? We don't even know.
Man, I'm burpy with this. Yeah, let's make sure those people can hear you. Ask them for a thumbs up if they can hear us, or just a W or something. Like W's in the chat. Yeah. W's in the chat, people.
I wish I could.
That's what everybody does on.
Can you monitor? No, you can't monitor that on
the computer. Oh, my phone?
Oh, you know what?
We could probably. You know what? That's a good idea. Let me. Let's. Let me.
I got my.
Oh, you got your.
Here.
Yeah. Well, I needed to charge this anyways, but I mean.
Well,
I could.
You want to get the charger for?
No, I don't need that. I was just saying. We could charge it and monitor it on my phone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you want that giant screen in the way. That's cool too, man.
Yeah. Well, you got a charger?
No, I don't. You got all these cords and you don't have an extra iPhone charger? Are you kidding me, man? We're in a spider web of freaking cords here, and you don't have one spare. I mean, dude, look at this. You got cords for cords.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever. Oh, man, we got to be careful with this, dude. Make sure you put that Topo Chico not on the other side of this boomstick, man, because I almost knocked that bad boy over.
That'd be terrific, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be good. For my services. No, man, you put it on that, Caelin. I think it'll be a little easier to... Is that an iPad?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know if I can access it because it's through mine.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll pull mine up just in case, and then, we'll improvise with...
let me go get you a charger.
Oh, no, we'll just run to 7-Eleven and go buy a new charger. This guy doesn't have a spare one in his house. Yeah, we're running out of cords here, people. Oh, this dude's live, man. Oh, yeah, here we go. How do I not see any of these people How can I not see any of this stuff that anybody's commenting on here?
So it's going to give us feedback.
Feedback? Oh, the sound?
Yeah, we'll have to turn the sound off.
Well, I wish I could.
You should be able to see their comments, right?
No. How does that make any sense?
That doesn't seem right.
Hey, I'm the only one talking to myself. I'm talking to my own self right here. Request to join. Request to be in Caelin's live video. Hey there. Hey, Larry.
Be live in the video?
No, I don't want to be live in my own video. I mean, we can. Yeah, sure, man.
It'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Sit there and hold it. And go
request to join. Yeah, sure. Send request. I'm gonna request it on there so I can stream too. What does it say? Does it says requested? Nor have I. So now we're streaming on 2 separate accounts. Okay. Accepted your request to join their live video. You'll start sharing a live video soon. Why can't we just use your screen here?
Well, because we gotta have a camera where they can see us both, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to have mine set up.
I wonder if you can turn sideways on that camera, or is it all vertical?
What, yours? Oh, I need to turn this down all the way. What's up with all this? What's up with this feedback? Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic.
Yeah, there we go.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. Well, I mean,
Okay.
I really don't want to share I don't want to share my screen. I'm gonna turn that off. Now,
Oh, it's cutting the video in half. That's not gonna work.
oh man, this is stupid.
Can you read the comments still?
No, I can't read crap. It just all it's doing is it's done is it's just literally let me talk to Larry here and say hey Larry. I mean, that's 2 people. That's it. I've got 2 people
for you.
I've got 2 people on here, and it's myself and Larry.
Well,
I don't know how to do this. Trial and error. Yeah, Larry. Yeah, Larry. We kind of figured that out. We need a little assistance here. We're not doing. You have split screen. How do we take the split screen off? Purple and Larry. Can you guys Google? How do you, no, that's not it. That's not it. Maybe we got to go to this. I'm following. Well, unfortunately, are you kicking me? Okay, that's fine. Well, that works. Okay, fair enough.
it's fun, guys. Hopefully, y'all can hear us.
Yeah, we're figuring this out. Well,
Hold on, I got a better idea.
what you got?
I got this.
What do you got?
All right, guys, stay on here. Give me a minute. I'm gonna get us mic'd up to see if y'all can hear us better while we do this.
Oh yeah, that's even a better idea.
I got all sorts of gadgets.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's a guy. I think Evan Keller was in there, man. He's probably like, "What is this guy doing? This sucks. I'm not watching this." That's probably about what he did. He just showed up and was like, "Yeah, this is stupid." Like these guys are just sitting there wasting my evening.
I have no idea. All right, get you a little clip on the shirt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Let's see.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, that's got to be better.
Can y'all hear a difference at all?
Yeah, we need you guys' help. Oh, dude.
Any difference?
This has to be different.
I don't know.
Excuse
One way or
me.
the other.
No, I'm almost certain that's better. Because, see, it's picking up on your
I wish I could just stream it from the iPad to where I could totally see it. There's got to be a way.
the thing is,
Where's
what's
the iPad?
I don't understand on how, yeah, maybe try it on there, because just so you guys know, this isn't the real whole purpose we're doing it on Instagram, or why Caelin's doing this on Instagram. Your whole goal is for us to record this content for YouTube, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So really, you guys are kind of getting behind scenes on how novice we are with this. Yeah, the biggest issue is not having the chat pulled up, even though we only have a few people. But
What will happen if I try to go live
on your
on
iPad?
the iPad at the same time that I'm live?
I mean, the only way to know is to find out.
Here we go, guys.
Oh, it might kick you. There ain't no way you're going to be able to do it both.
I'm now live. Can I be live at both at once? What does that do?
I mean, I wouldn't do the camera.
They're telling my followers that I'm here. Let me go look here.
Okay. Are they commenting at the same time? I don't think we're going to be able to pull this chat up.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I think this is a different one.
No, I think what we do is we just we roll with what we got, and then we kind of just jump into this video.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, I'm in the live here. I'm live on my phone on the other one.
Yeah. Well, how many people are watching us? We've still got Larry and Purple, right?
Yeah, we got another Unmuzzled Courage.
Unmuzzled Courage is his name? Is the name?
I think it's a girl.
Oh, either way, no offense. I'm just saying it's their name, that person's name, he, her, he, she, whatever. I mean,
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's chop it up because the whole reason here was for us just to sit around bullshit, and hopefully y'all can hear us some. I want to be able to see you.
Yeah, of course, man.
And us be able to. I'm gonna move this some because this is just
Right in your way.
hitting my crotch here.
Oh. Well, just shove it right in my face.
Yeah, I know exactly right. There we go.
Yeah,
How's
that's
that? Better?
Yeah, that's good. That's fine. I'll move
Perfect.
it when you're ready.
There we
how
go.
that is. Okay.
Okay, guys,
Yeah,
this
nice.
is exciting.
Yeah, man.
You know
This
what?
is super great.
Can you hand me that remote back there? Actually,
Which one?
The TV. That one.
This one?
Yeah, the TV's gotten set to, I guess, automatic
Purple mode. Yeah.
No, it's cycling.
Oh, gotcha.
I've got multiple. There we go. I think that's. Gosh darn it!
Man.
This is.
I think we got another person in here with us. Someone else has joined. I'm gonna take this request live thing off and see what I can pull up with this chat.
There we go.
Well, it says we had 8 others. Now we've only got one person, and it's just me, I think. Well, that's unfortunate. No, we got our 3 people back. That's great. Well, I think I'm counting myself as one of these people. I don't think this matters. I'm pretty sure I'm counting myself.
This thing is terrible.
What's your favorite pizza? See, now I can read it. Who,
Oh, maybe you can only read the new comments.
Larry's got me. Larry, can you hear me on this? Unmuzzled, is this better that you guys can hear us better now with these mics queued up?
Can you can see new comments, right?
Now I can, yeah.
Got it.
Oh, see, she can hear us.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, let's rock this out then.
Well, what's that? Before we get started, you got to answer the question. What's your favorite pizza?
Ooh, I suppose it depends on the mood. Some good jalapeno pineapple with Canadian bacon and what's the egg? No, not eggplant. What am I thinking? Eggplant. No, the it's like the one that we had a few years ago.
Not anchovy.
No, it's
artichoke hearts.
artichoke hearts. Yeah.
Hey, baby.
I don't know why I'm thinking eggplants. It's terrible.
Unmuzzled, feel free to let us know your favorite pizza. What about you there, Larry?
Yeah,
And then we'll get this kicked off. What do you think, Caelin?
Sounds good.
All right, man.
Yeah, so before we got started here, we're trying to figure all of our stuff out. We realized we had no agenda for the show
Not a single one.
other than chop it up.
Well, I think we always have an agenda, man. I don't think we walk through life with no purpose. I think we're purposeful people.
Purposely purposeless.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, there's a lot less white noise is what Larry is saying since we got these mics queued up.
Oh, perfect. Very glad to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Larry, for that feedback.
Yeah. So, what are we going to chop it up about tonight?
Oh, man.
Tyler's thinking about buying a car.
Oh yeah, great.
This is a bad decision.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible.
I've been
decision.
waiting all week to call you out on it.
That's fine. What do you have to say about it, Caelin?
Maybe it's a good decision. Maybe it's, I will subscribe to what I've heard David Bayer say before, that there is no such thing as a good or bad decision. And we oftentimes don't really know one way or the other. One thing that we think is a horrible decision turns out to be one of the best things that's ever happened to us. That being said, how old are you now?
I'm 32, man.
Oh, yeah, tighten that down.
I just did. This thing's like not holding on.
Yeah, okay.
That's better.
32.
32.
Yeah, so you're into that phase of your life where it's like at some point it's like, hey, you got to build something.
Yeah.
Like really build something of value. And oftentimes the building is building yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And cars are fun, but if you can't buy two of them, you probably shouldn't buy one of them.
That's very true. Maybe we should talk about what kind of car this is first. I mean, give it a little bit of validity here. We're not talking a Honda Civic or an Accord.
I mean, would Kia be too low of a word?
Yeah, man. I mean, Kia, Honda Prelude, whatever.
The Prelude.
Yeah, the old Prelude, man.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I struggle with that sometimes. I think a lot of issues that young men, that are, newly single or no kids or anything like that at my age, they just, they try to have some sense of accomplishment in their life, and I think that's kind of a coping mechanism. Now, for one, I do love cars.
Oh, for sure.
I am a car enthusiast, not just a admirer. I am a true enthusiast of the automotive industry.
I do know that about you.
Yeah, so yeah, that's something I've been very near and dear to me. I've always really been into vehicles, and not just I appreciate all vehicles, but neither here nor there. I don't know. Is that really an interesting topic? Do you think so?
To car enthusiast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, is there any car enthusiasts out there? We got anybody that likes vehicles?
Or to people who are trying to figure out how to make shitty choices.
That's true.
Early on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, I mean, really, it could be a great decision. I fully believe that sometimes you need to switch up your frame, change things up. So, hey, buy the car. Maybe that puts you in proximity with other people that are showing up powerfully, and you make some friends at car shows and things like that. And by doing that, you gain some momentum, go a different direction in life, and you're very satisfied with that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, I mean, that's just something I've kind of just played with for a little while. I mean, I'm a very frugal person. I don't spend a lot of money now. Oh, well, I used to. I used to be pretty careless, really careless. I mean, we could go into that for hours, but I mean, for the most part, I'm usually pretty good about making good choices financially and saving a lot of money. Our office.
Is saving money the name of the game?
I mean, man, there's no way you're going to save yourself to financial freedom. Impossible. And there's plenty of people that say, okay, I mean, I don't even want to put this person's name out there, but let's say you saved every single dollar that you ever made.
Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's say you make $100,000 a year, you bring home 60, and you save $60,000 every single year. I mean, you know how long it'd take you to have financial freedom? Forever.
It depends on how much financial freedom is, but yeah.
I mean, there's no way you're going to be. I mean, I personally believe the only way to get truly financially free, you got to be a multimillionaire.
Yeah, I mean, you could always go like Robert Kiyosaki and be like, oh, yeah, I'm totally financial free. I've, got some apartments, whatever, and,
right.
Have a little bit of excess cash flow. But still, I mean, he made the majority of his money by starting a business that grew at 1000% per year,
right,
end over end. And people were like, yeah, but I can get 8% or 12% in the stock market.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it's going to take you to get rich? Like, here's the thing.
Oh, they'll talk about compounding
Here's the thing,
interest.
everybody. Here's the thing. You don't know how long you're going to live. You don't have as long as Warren Buffett, probably. He wasn't really genuinely wealthy, wasn't it, like till his 50s or 60s?
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, especially at the time that he did that and everything. But if you want to go the investment route, that's a slow game.
Yeah, it's a long game, man.
Can you imagine how long it would take to have gotten wealthy like Alex Hormozy trying to invest, we'll say 60,000. 60,000 is a huge number for most people. 30,000 extra dollars per year to have, what was his buyout? It was like 43 million or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe 40 million. So to compound $30,000 with an additional 30,000 added in every year, dude, start a business.
Yeah,
do something productive.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. I mean, investing in yourself. There's. I mean, you know, a lot of these people that are very financially well off, and the most things that they will say is that they invested in themselves. Aside from everything else, that's the number one thing that they would invest in is themselves 10 times over.
Hold on real quick.
Okay. Maybe a technical issue. I think the camera's moving.
I'm curious. Can we
Turn it? Yeah, that's what I thought.
do this more frame?
Yeah, that's probably a little better. I would greatly assume that's a lot better.
No. Can the people watching?
Well, see, it does turn your screen, and they can turn. Yeah, I think that might be a little more enjoyable to turn.
Oh, well.
Instead of watching it like.
If it's not enjoyable, sucks to suck.
Nah, man. I think it'll be all right to watch.
Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you tuning in. We're just sitting here enjoying our Friday night, chopping it up.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think, and I don't know, I mean, I feel like a lot of people do podcasts and they suck, or they have, you know, little shows that they're doing, and they're just not meaningful. It's just a bunch of people talking about kind of worthless stuff. And I feel like Caelin, you've grown so much since I've met you, man. I mean, just in the person that you've become and who you are today compared to when I first met you, 7 years ago? 2014?
I thought it's been longer than that, yeah.
No, about 14 or 15.
Yeah, well, if it was 14, then it's 23, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
9 years.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Pretty good bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing that I personally lack, and I like to consume a lot of content as well, is people's podcasts are just pretty dry. You know, it's just like, oh, yeah, did you read this thing about this shark that bit this guy's leg off and he lived for 4 hours and then ran 20 miles in a marathon and then biked across the ocean? I mean, that stuff's just pointless. I feel like there's no growth in a lot of these.
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, thank you for acknowledging that.
Of course, man.
You've made huge leaps yourself. I used to really have a lot of judgments towards some of those podcasts and what people got from them. And I'm starting to realize that, you know, people find value in all sorts of different ways.
That is true.
And just because I don't think that it's valuable, or like I don't find it personally valuable, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not inherently valuable
to someone else.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're trying to keep up with. You know, maybe you're somebody who has just been in an accident and you've been injured, you know, and you listen to a podcast like that and you had your leg taken off. You're like, well, fuck me. I'm not giving up now.
Yeah.
This motherfucker got in a fight with a shark and won.
Fair enough. You know, this is true. And I think that's one thing to say is, I mean, there's so many different people you're appealing to, right? I mean, for me to say that everyone thinks the way that I think and wants to watch content that I want, then we're not all cookie cutter people. I mean,
yeah, so we're not all cookie cutter people, but even more than that, there are reasons for why people do what people do. And fundamentally, like, yeah, I do think that we could have a better class of citizen. We could have a better class of people that, you know, that we do need to strive. Like, we do not need to penalize striving and people getting better.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, there's been plenty of points in my life where I've needed to just chill out, take a break from stuff, pull back, whatever. And then, we find things in moments that are inspiring. And so I could sit here and try to be the arbiter of what people find valuable or not. But, it's kind of like the algorithm on YouTube. It's like people like what they like.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
On a long term, we're going to see the results that gets. And that's part of my mission writing this book, is that I think ideally we have a nice balance between that short-term, long-term seeking of, pleasure, but then also long-term duty, responsibility, and having a longer vision for life. And, so I think I think you have room for both.
Yeah.
Basically, people find it highly frustrating when I say stuff like that, because they're like, well, you're basically not giving an answer.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, not everybody can listen to just, pound it in your face, growth every single day. People grow in different circumstances, and
Absolutely.
Lots of different people have different things that they're dealing with. And fundamentally, people have to get to a place where they're receptive and open to growing, to changing their life, to doing the work. Excuse me. And
Topo Chicos were a bad idea.
Yeah. And it is work.
Yeah.
Like, it's legit work. If you want to change your life, it's like, hey, today I've decided that I want to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many years does it take you to actually develop that as a characteristic trait? You can choose it.
Yeah.
You can choose it. But then you have to condition it and develop it.
Yeah. I mean, Caelin, let me ask you. So what, like, real quick, and just like talking about your book, we don't have to go into the whole book. Like, just give me a brief overview of what motivated you, or not even motivated you. Why did you feel compelled to have to write this book? And that's probably a loaded answer. So maybe try not to, maybe not give everything, but I mean, what compelled you to write this book?
Well, many of you may not know this, but about 5 years ago, I was drinking, it was about 3.5 gallons of vodka per week. No. Yeah, 3.5 gallons of vodka per week.
Jeez.
Yeah. Just
Man,
literally
that's
drinking
crazy.
every night.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty wild. Like, I would literally just sit here, and instead of drinking Topo Chico, it'd be vodka. And you wouldn't even know. Like, by the end of it, you wouldn't even know that it's vodka. Like, working at the club for that long,
Yeah.
it was part of our job to just sit there and like talk with clients and drink and have fun with them. And so it was like, oh, hey, no big deal. I just had 15, 20 shots. Like, I'm sober.
Yeah. Do you ever talk about working at the club in your book?
I reference it a few times maybe, but it's not really the primary focus.
For sure.
So, but I feel compelled because of all the stuff that happened over the last, it's not even just 3 years. It's really like, it's my whole lifetime leading up to this in a country. And what we see is, I've studied financial systems. I've studied the history of financial systems. I've studied the history of currencies. I've studied, people, psychology, just, all the greats. And it seems like we're at this tipping point.
Yeah.
And like, I love this country. I love a lot of the things. And we've got people that are so divisive on both sides. And I fundamentally believe that we have far more in common than we have out of common.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we need some way to bridge that gap. And this book isn't necessarily a way to bridge political divides or whatever, but it is a way to say that we need better people. And how do you get better people? Well, teach them some fundamentals for life.
Yeah.
And I wish I had fundamentals. Look, probably much like you.
Okay.
We can start with a base assumption. We both ended up working as male dancers.
Fair enough.
And from that, we can draw a conclusion that at some point in life, we had some shit go on that opened us up to that being a possibility. Because if it hadn't, we never would have ended up being there in the first place.
Never would have met.
Never would have.
Never would have been making this right now.
Never would have.
I mean,
I'm not trying to say that I regret it or that I don't like it. I'm just trying to draw the picture that in my mind, I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
Like, it was wonderful. And I think both my parents are really smart,
Wow.
really intelligent. And maybe I'm just not as smart as I'd like to think. But somehow I missed like having a successful blueprint for showing up powerfully in life, for getting the results that I want to get, for not shaming myself over everything, for having a mindset that actually propels me forward for things that I want to do versus not, for communicating with myself in a constructive manner versus like I could easily spill this Topo Chico here and be like, God, you fuck up, man.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah.
You know, or I could be like, man, that's okay. Like, but you made a mistake, bro. Also at the same time, and you know better than to put an open beverage where it could get hit knocked.
That's true. So do you feel like your book kind of resonates with, well, that's a good idea. I put mine on the floor too, if you didn't notice. But man, I just want to kind of reiterate, that's some really good points about your book and yourself and just kind of a little bit of back history. So with that being said, do you feel like, are you speaking to yourself in this book a little bit? Are you speaking to kind of a selected audience, or kind of who are you trying to appeal to? The person that you were?
So it's kind of funny because yes, in one sense, I think you're best positioned to serve the person who you once were. In another sense, I made a decision when I was probably, I think about 23 years old. And I looked around and I looked at what everyone else was getting. They went out and they went to college and they took on the debt and they got out of that and they bought expensive cars that they couldn't afford. And then they took on loans for houses and they essentially bought into this big institutional buy-in that it seemed like everybody was getting screwed.
Yeah.
in. Like people just didn't, I looked around and I didn't see people in their 40s and 50s in positions that I really wanted to be in.
Right.
So I tried to do something different. And so this book actually speaks more to men in their 35s to 40s, or 35 to 50, really. But so it's directly for men. I've had some women read it and give me really good feedback that if you just replace the word man with woman.
Oh, really?
But I mean, obviously, in some senses, no. There are very clear things that are more masculine traits that I talk about that like it's just not as applicable to women. But overall, there's a lot of life fundamentals there.
Absolutely.
Like it's just fundamentals. And once you get fundamentals in life, it's like you don't just win at one game. It's not like, oh, hey, now I've got foundations in business. You know who does that? People that develop foundations in business, but they don't cross-pollinate that to the other areas of their life, they're miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, that's like saying like one person is just strong in one feature of their life. You know, I think Matthew McConaughey said it really well. He talks about having credit and debt. And I'm not sure exactly how he talks about it, but he talks about your family, your faith, your money, your career, and all these different attributes that you have, and one will have, you know, a greater sum than the other, but then you might take a little bit away from your family.
Yep.
And I think that's a really good point to speak on. If you're just killing it in one area and you can't spread this out, I think you're going to feel miserable. And I definitely can attest to that too. I think at one point we had a physical time in our lives, and I don't really want to talk a whole lot about it, but you know, we were seen as, you know, kings. I mean, that's how we felt. But in some sense, it drove me personally, speaking for myself, down a whole different path that I never wanted to go down. You know, drinking, drugs, partying, and all these things. And I feel like when you have just a super high in one area, but everything else is lacking, I feel like you're going to be completely miserable.
Yeah, to circle back to that just a little bit, when I say fundamentals in one area that you can't cross-pollinate to the others, this is sort of what I was talking about in my book with meta fundamentals.
Yeah.
And those are fundamentals that cross the series of games. And so that's learning how to take a leadership role, not just in business, but with your family.
Yeah.
And with your friends and with all those in life. because these are fundamental. Like I made a post earlier today, and it was like reference one fundamental, and that's just an idea that either sacrifice for what you want or what you want becomes a sacrifice, right? Like it's a simple maxim, but people don't live by it.
Yeah,
it's like they don't live by it, and so when you start thinking about that as well, so I'll just go into like the second pillar. So there's 8 pillars in the book, and the second pillar is implement non-negotiable standards. And so for much of my life, my standards have been casual.
Yeah.
They've been weak, and they haven't been a standard. And so we've got a whole class of people out there who are like, yeah, man, I've got these standards, and I don't tolerate I don't tolerate people that talk crap about other people in my life.
Yeah.
And then yeah. and then like an hour later
they're just talking
like,
smack.
Bro, did you see this Karen over here? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe what she did.
Yeah. Just hypocrite.
And it's like, look, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not a perfect human, but so the book is just about getting incrementally better.
Yeah.
It's not that anybody has to be perfect, but look, if you can get your life 10 to 20% better, people don't realize how massive that is.
Huge.
Dude, 10% over 50 years or 30 years, dude, it's huge.
You're saying like 10% every year?
I mean, 10% is...
10%.
Well, no, I'm thinking more like 10% in 90 days. That'd be a lot more.
Oh, wow.
But if you can get your life 10% better in 90 days.
And where would you start with that 10%? You think, and I thought about this on the way over here to the studio, is for me, I think the hardest thing for a lot of people, excuse me, dude, those Topo Chicos were a bad idea. Not for a podcast.
Sparklies.
I shouldn't even say podcast, but for a recording session. So, I mean, even for me, the first thing I thought of when I'm coming over here, I'm like, man, what are we going to talk about? And what the number one thing that I would say for someone to become in that successful realm. Now, I find myself successful in different ways than others. I mean, I'm not a multimillionaire or something crazy like that. I'm not Hermazi or Andrew Tate or Andy Frisella or any of these big mogul guys, okay? But for me, I am successful. I will say that I have overcome a lot of things. Now, have I hit my pinnacle of success? No. I mean, I'm far from that. I mean, we're just touching the surface here. But for me, I was thinking about one thing just on the way over here, like what's one step that someone could take? And what I came up with is fitness. Just working out. And I'm not talking dieting or anything. I'm just talking going to the gym. And I thought about it, and I was like, why is that the number one thing that comes to my mind? Well, I think that is kind of the snowball effect. If you just go work out and you really push yourself, like I'm not talking about some people that just lollygag around and playing on your phones and sitting there doing some leg extensions for an hour, and then you're like, all right, I did 2-hour workout. No, like for real, workout 45 minutes, an hour, bust it, go hard, okay? At that time, do that for a week. And then you're going to go, man, I really don't want those double cheeseburgers. I just work my ass off. And then you start the diet. And then at that point, you want to get yourself in better shape. So for me, that was the one thing I noticed. What would you say for you would be kind of that Kickstarter to changing that life in the 10%? Okay.
So I would push back on you for that one. Just first of all, I do think physical fitness is one of the easiest low-hanging fruits for people to get, primarily because they do get to see tangible, actual changes. I think so yes, it can be really helpful for people to go in the gym and realize that they're still alive after pushing it really hard for a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I have to be real about, though, is that a lot of people, they're going to hate it so much because it's so out of their comfort zone. I can't tell you how many people I know that they go and they're like, I'm going to go to the gym, and they do 2 or 3 hard workouts, and then they're dreading going more, rather than saying, it doesn't matter what happens, I'm going to go consistently for 365 days.
Man.
And it's okay if I only do 5 minutes on the treadmill. I'm going to show the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it turns out, at least for me, that also builds a sense of congruence because you are doing what you say you're going to do. But again, you've set that bar low, but you do start seeing tangible results. And I think people can get a lot of tangible results just doing the right thing consistently. And people oftentimes in life, it's not because people don't go really hard on something for a short amount of time. It's because people don't go long enough in a consistent manner for a long point in time. It's less those crushing workouts over a short span of time than it is the consistent workouts.
Right. That
it's like, hey, it's okay if it's just all right today.
Yeah. No, I definitely will have to agree with you on that. That's just something, I'm not Caelin everybody. So, this guy's like real deep into this. I'm just sitting here on the surface. This guy's
obsessed.
Yeah. Obsessed.
I have a whole chapter in my book on it.
Oh yeah.
On obsession. No, I really do.
Oh, I know.
Chapter 8.
Yeah. I mean,
have you got there yet?
No.
Have you got to the point where you're at in the
book?
I
didn't even. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I skipped to it.
Did you like how I introduced it?
I don't really remember. I mean, I
I'm
remember
tell you about a story.
Oh dear Lord. Yeah.
I thought it was funny because it was like, I don't want to name names, but let's just call him Tyler because
this is his name. Yeah, that was actually pretty funny. I thought that was actually hilarious. No,
I laughed when I wrote it.
I mean, we don't have to. I mean, the thing is, the book's fantastic, man. I think it's written very well. I think it touches a lot of points. Have I read the whole thing? No, I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's a big book.
It's a big book, but it's easy to read though. And not in the fact of that it doesn't have good information or it's just a very good flowing book. It's just a big book and it's spaced really well. I mean, I don't know if you showed anybody, but I mean, man, just the way the text is laid out is just so easy to read. For people like me, I'm not a big reader. Yep. And that is something that really stands out to me as just being able to kind of flow with this. And then, I want a book like this. I mean, I knocked out 50 pages today. Yeah. I mean, kind of just making it happen.
It's funny because it actually is written with exactly what we're talking about. People get to build momentum
for sure,
and people read a single page and they forgot what they wrote or they read in a normal book. And I wrote it with that in mind of like, dude, people need to build momentum. People need to be like, dude, I read 10 pages or 50 pages, and it's like. And other people were like, oh, but it costs more to print the book and I don't make as much in profit. I'm like, bro, you want to encourage people to have a great experience.
Yeah.
There's plenty of space for notes. There's plenty of space for people to read like they do on text or they do on email or whatever else.
Yeah.
Like create something that is beautiful. If a book is art, then why would you not take your audience into account?
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it. So thank you.
Oh man, I think it's great. Let me kind of get your thoughts on people kind of struggling with. I mean, we'll speak to a broad audience. If someone's
getting feedback here,
are you? You getting some feedback or what?
I feel like I am. Did one of the cords go over the power cord? Maybe
I don't know. I don't think so. Take 2.
Yeah, maybe not. Whatever.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is that all right? Yeah, I mean, well, instead of me giving all the topics, what do you got on your mind, man? I know you got everything. I mean, you got plenty of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, that's putting me on the spot here.
Well, not really. I mean, we're just sitting here kind of just browsing around. I mean, I think of all kinds of stuff throughout the day.
Yeah, no, I've honestly been obsessed with getting stuff off the ground, and I try to. So it's for anybody watching this, it's interesting when you decide to enter the world of, I don't even know what to call it because it's not precisely just coaching. It's not just internet marketing. It's not just course creation. It's not just any of these things. It's just called being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I love it. Like, I love it because it's like, dude, I got to just problem solve and learn fast. It's like I learn in the morning, I implement in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so it's been great. So I've pretty much just been obsessed with getting this stuff out there, but then like really thinking intentionally. Mm-hmm. Like one of the things I talk about in the book is, first of all, thinking about the structure of of what I want to do and how I want to do it, and filtering that through heuristics of what I'm going to say yes to and what I'm going to say no to.
Yeah.
And then asking the question, where is the world going to be in 2028 or 2033, 10 years out? Because here's the truth for everybody watching. I've been behind everything big that's come in the world so far.
Yeah.
And chances are, if you're watching this, you probably have been fairly behind it too. Like, I was talking about Bitcoin in like 2013.
I do
to
remember
friends.
that, yeah.
Like, I almost, bought 10 grand of it back then. But
Yeah, that was like 2014 when I remember you were kind of hot on that.
yeah, but never bought any, never pulled the trigger, never did it. And I can't tell you how many trends I've been early on, but I've just totally missed, just 1,000%. And I've been a pessimist for so much of my life. Oh, the market's going to crash. Oh, this is going to happen. And it was part of this what led up to the book, this sort of burning my life down, that also made me realize that while I had caught certain trends, I wasn't able to take advantage of them because of my mindset, because of this scarcity, and that I no longer wanted to be that person. And so if I wanted to get different things in life, then I would actually have to be somebody different.
Yeah.
Well, so what I've been thinking about is how I can bring massive value to the world in a way that's congruent with who I want to be, how I want to do things, and what I want to do. So, like, one of the things I talk about in the book is like a business venture. If it doesn't have the potential to make $1 million in the next 24 months, like, I'm just not interested.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like, why would I do that? That's just a waste of my time.
I think for a lot of people, I think that amount of money is it seems unreal. When you're in that limited mindset and you're like,
It's not that much money.
It's
though.
really not. I mean, think about how much a normal car costs now. I mean, like, a normal vehicle costs like $60,000.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, you
60.
can get some that are like 35, 40 grand, but then you're going to be like, oh, I kind of want something really nice. And then it's like 50, 60,000.
Yep.
And then when you're talking, people make 80 to 100 grand a year. It's kind of unreal. And then you're like, well, there's people out here making 6 figures a month.
7 figures.
7 figures a month.
8 figures a month.
8 figures a month.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. No, that's a lot.
That's a lot of cash flow.
That's a lot. But seriously, there's plenty of people that make, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100,000 a month, $1 million a month.
Yep.
And when you think out of that scarcity mindset, I think that really opens you up for other doors. I mean, what is it called? The RAS, reticular activating system. I mean, it's the same thing with how you view your life. I mean, if you think in a scarcity mindset, just like you're talking about, and you go, man, like, I make $6,000 a month, but I bring home after taxes $4,000. Like, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. If I got a $5,000 raise this year, you're going to be making what, 80 grand, something like that, right? Okay, $80,000. How much more is that a month? Like $100. I mean, seriously. But see, people have that scarcity mindset, and the system is designed to keep people in that, to think they're doing better. But really, you're not going to get ahead doing that.
Yeah. So to go back.
Too loud?
Too quiet.
Oh,
actually,
fair enough.
There we go. Sorry. As we got warmed up here, I feel like my ears got desensitized or something. But so I actually, that was a major impetus for writing the book.
Yeah.
Because I'm a strong believer in the middle class. I'm a strong believer in individuals. I'm a strong believer in protecting people, and that I think, I'm such a believer in having a strong, robust middle of the system, where, of course, so historically, for everybody watching, societies have been the have-nots and the haves, and there is no in between. Like, it's very small. There's like hardly anything there. And then we had this whole experiment go on, and people have had a middle class, and it has been so wonderful and so good for the rest of the world. It's led to such abundance. We've had so many inventions. We've had so much progress. If you think about the fact that we're talking on these mics that run on electricity, that we're sitting in air conditioning, we have these screens, we have all of this stuff that's coming from all over around the world.
Right.
And that's part of having a robust middle class. And so we're talking about these incomes, but we're talking about a deeper, more systemic problem. And that systemic problem is really that the difference between these two lies in competence in a large degree. And the haves, especially on the very high-end elite system, obfuscate how to get there. And so what's really happening with a lot of Americans is they have no understanding of how to break out of the system, how to break out of the institution of just show up, just go to your job, just do this, and just make that $70,000 or $80,000 a year.
Right.
And they have, they you know, and a lot of the wealth has been detracted and pulled out of the economy for individual people who want to make money like that. But there's still so much opportunity out there on how to do these things. And yes, like the numbers seem big, but even if you don't look at the numbers, if you just start looking at how could I be a better version of myself?
Yeah.
Because in the book, I go backwards because we're always so focused on, well, how do I get this? How do I do that? And we're focused on have. You know, but life is more about being and becoming and, you know, doing. And the things that you do are really a reflection off of who you're being. And so it's like, well, how are you being in any single given moment? Right? Like, are you being present? Are you showing up powerfully? What's your state? You know, where are you coming from? Are you coming from a place of power or, you know, disempowered?
I think a lot of people want and I used to struggle with this as well, is understanding, and I still do sometimes, is understanding what direction I need to go in. And I feel like and this is where I think some people get frustrated and annoyed in comments that I read is, you know, they kind of just want the answer. They want you to tell them, like, if you go on Instagram or TikTok or something like that, and you just like, for example, these people talk about oil field, and you'll see people on there like, oh man, I want to get a job. I want to do that too. You want to make 6 figures a year. Do you want to work 100 hours a week? Like, dude, that's not being successful.
Lose a few fingers.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, the thing is, you have to choose something that you're doing for free. If you could do it for free.
I disagree.
Well, we're doing this for free, technically. You don't agree with that?
I don't think that you have to want to do it for free. I also will say that I think it's good for people to admit that they want to make massive amounts of money.
For sure.
That's been a huge thing through my life. Oh, well, I need to feel good about doing this. I would really do it for free. If not, like, no, I want to make a shit ton of money.
That's true.
Like, I'm not going to be shy about it. And look, I can't have the impact on the world that I want to have if I'm broke.
That's a good point. Maybe I need to rephrase that and say, I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. Now that you put in that context and to kind of lay it out like that, and it does make a lot of sense. Yeah, I guess that's kind of a bullshit thing to say, is that I would do this for free. I've never really thought of it like that. I mean, seriously, you know, that's a one thing. I mean, you got to do something that you would do for free and want to help people. That's seriously, that's what a lot of people say, and that's kind of, and you kind of get brainwashed into that.
Yeah, there's a ton of brainwashing. That literally one of the major things of the book is, you've known me long enough to know that I'm sort of a contrarian, but not just a contrarian. So I saw something on TikTok earlier, and it was of Bedros Keuilian, and he was like, if you want to be successful, go out there and watch what everybody's doing and then do the opposite. And I was like, no, don't do the opposite. Like, the opposite isn't necessarily better. That's like saying, okay, well, if everybody puts on their socks, then their shoes, well, now I'm going to put on my shoes, then my socks.
Okay.
Like, don't do the opposite.
Yeah. You know? Yeah.
But do different. Like, genuinely. So, you know, you sent me that TikTok yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before with JT Fox. He was this guy that we saw speak.
Man, I don't want to badmouth the guy, but that guy, I mean, my beliefs, my faith and my beliefs, I'm not supposed to gossip about anybody. It's real serious. But I will say this. You say it for me. Well, how do we feel about this guy? JT Fox. We're coming for you, man, because when Caelin blows up and then I blow up, I'm blowing you up, dude. And then we're gonna have Jake Paul boxing match and I'm gonna whoop this guy so bad because he's a crook. This dude's a crook, bro. This dude's a crook. I mean, how long were we at that thing and we seen him and we just stopped and looked at each other and go, are these people serious? These are coaches. Now these are coaches, right?
Yeah.
He was at a coaching event and we went to that, Tony Robbins had to give a disclosure when he came out there. I mean, first thing he says, like, I don't know who's here, but I just showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah, I'm going to turn my mic up too. But man, this guy blew my mind in not a good way. In not a good way.
Yeah, so for context for the listeners, sorry.
Yeah, we probably need to fill them in.
That's a super sensitive dial right there that I can't seem to.
Oh, yeah, I'll adjust it for you. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, perfect right there. So for a little bit of context, we went to this event and it had some great speakers there. It had
man, I can't remember a lot of those guys' names, but there were some good speakers. The girl that wrote the book Molly, the movie Molly, she was
Molly's Game.
Yeah, she was a speaker there. It was almost
she wasn't a very good speaker, but she was but she had a great story.
She has a fantastic story.
Yeah.
Fantastic story.
There was I'm live on Instagram. There was the guy Paul M. Jones. No, I got his book. I listened to his book.
Oh, really?
It's exactly what to say. He's the guy. Phil M. Jones was there. He was, besides Tony Robbins, he was probably the best speaker.
Yeah.
And he's actually a Hall of Fame speaker in the National Speakers Association.
Yeah.
But so anyways, JT Fox comes out, and this is before we're going to lunch. Everybody's hungry, right?
Oh, God.
And we've seen these people come in and they're wearing like these red vests and like they're looking sleazy from the get-go. And when we say snake oil salesman, let's give some context and some history on the term of where that originated. So how that originated is people used to travel around to villages and towns here and they would sell snake oil. Right? As these elixirs, as these fix-alls, right? And it might be a little of this and a little of that and, a little opium and whatever.
Excuse me.
Yeah, a little opium. And anyways, this will heal your cancer. This will heal whatever. I don't even know if people had cancer back then, but it'll heal whatever ailment you have. Arsenic poisoning. They used to use that as a pesticide on crops, in case y'all didn't know. Wow. Oh, and they used to give people that had syphilis mercury pills. And then guess what the symptoms of mercury pills are? The symptoms of syphilis.
Oh my God.
It's a neurotoxin. So anyways, a snake oil salesman is somebody that is really sleazy. Like they're just going to peddle anything to make a buck and they're going to con people.
I think a lot of people don't really realize how bad it is to be a snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
Or a guy that's selling snake oil. It's kind of just a general term.
Yeah. So people don't really know the context and the history. So that sort of sets it. And so this guy comes out. And he has somebody else introduce him, and he has like several people introduce him.
Yeah, it was like a gang.
And then he proceeds to like hold everybody probably 45 minutes past lunch, and he's showing all these pictures with like Tom Brady and Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, whatever. And he tells some guy in the front row that he's like, "Oh, I like your watch. I know that's an $80,000 watch." He's like, "You're going to give it to me. Just watch. You're going to join my program, and you're going to give it to me." And it was quite frankly, it made me so sad because I saw that guy actually get up and go sign up.
Yeah. And the bad thing is, this is kind of what I was referring to. And maybe I shouldn't use the phrase podcast, but even like personal development people or people in the space.
Yeah.
That's the people I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's so many people. You'll see so many people on Instagram or Facebook or wherever and be like, you want to make $1 million a month? Are you ready to be a coach? Do you want to be coached by the... It's just like you can't see through the crap. I mean, there's so much crap out there.
It's all a big circle jerk.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a joke. I mean, and that guy just drives me nuts. And now he's advertising selling cell towers.
Yeah, so that actually brings me full circle back to what we were talking about, is that there is so much stuff to do. So this guy's out peddling what a good investment cell phone towers are. Yeah. And look, I love technology. We're sitting here using technology.
Yeah, for sure.
Blah, blah, blah. But look, cell phone towers aren't doing a lot of us any favors. We need to have some serious health studies done on them.
Yeah.
We need to have like some very serious studies done on what's going on because we are extremely sick here in America. We don't have this level of sickness anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
It's skyrocketing. pardon me, those Topo Chicos.
Topo Chicos.
So all of this stuff is skyrocketing, and then this guy's out peddling this. And so what we're talking about with Tyler is he's like, dude, I just don't know what to commit to. And here's what I tell young men, because there's certain people out there, they're like, oh, just pick one thing and go for it. And I say, like, don't optimize too early. And I think it's actually Kevin Kelly who says this. And he may have actually like written something on it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, don't optimize too early, man. Like, but young men should be driven to the point where starting at around the age 15, you ought to be reading 50 plus books per year. And if you'll do that, which is really not that difficult with audio now, you can listen to them. You're going to have listened to at least 500 books by the time you're 25. You're going to have such a better grasp of the world, of what matters, of what works, of what doesn't work. Then can you imagine your father, who had probably read 50 total books by the time he's 25? Maybe not even that.
Maybe their lifetime, man.
Maybe their lifetime. Like I've probably read at least double, if not triple the amount of books my dad has in his entire life.
How many books do you think you've read?
And maybe more than that.
Thousands?
Hard to tell. Nah, I mean, people throw out big numbers. Like Ben Greenfield reads way faster and more than me. Like he does like 3 to 4 a week.
Wow.
He used to do one a day. He does some speed reading stuff. I tried the speed reading stuff. I just, it's like,
I remember.
Like I tried all the stuff and I just found, now I can listen at advanced speeds and that's pretty good. But I mean, I'll crush 50 to 150 books on any given year. It just depends on the year. On a slow year, it's 50. On an average year, it's probably 100. And, on a good year, it's 150.
Isn't there someone that states, now I don't know how much back this is, but they were talking about if you read a book a week, maybe it's a book a week, for 3 or 5 years, something like that, you would be an expert and 1%er in that field. Have you ever heard that before?
No. I mean, I think it just depends. So the reason, it depends on where you're at in life, on how broadly you should read. So this goes back to, we had a conversation a few months ago about, like, you were thinking about signing up at a gym and considering fighting. And
And
so there's this push online, sort of in the manosphere, for men to go out and like learn to fight because they need to learn to whatever.
Yeah.
And you have these other men that have already made a certain amount of income, and they're telling other men to go learn how to fight.
True.
And
personal security with them.
well, okay. So if you're learning how to do that, to build characteristic traits, yes. Discipline, keeping your commitments, showing up, working hard, learning to control your temper, like being, having a band of brothers.
Yeah.
Those, all positive attributes. But doing that because you somehow want to defend yourself, I'm sorry. If you're in your 30s at that point and you haven't put that time in, it's like you should probably try to put your time into creating a sustainable, like something of real value. And whether that's a company or whatever else, I just think that's such a better use for men because that's where they need to build their value at that time. And then once you have that freedom, you can do whatever else you want on the back end.
Do you think so that's interesting. And I agree with you on that, with the fact that, I do and I don't. I do agree with the fact that I think
be controversial. Disagree with me.
I do. I don't fully disagree with you. I think it's good because you disagreed with me earlier, so I got to give it back. Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I definitely agree with there having to be some benefit to not just wanting to beat someone up. I think that's kind of silly. I think it's good for disciplinary purposes. I think for me, it's kind of like having a fast car, just to go back to that. Having a fast car doesn't mean you have to freaking speed all around town. It just, you got it if you need it. That's, to me, how I kind of look at it.
Yep.
I think for a disciplinary purpose, and one, for your physical health, and two, I don't think it hurts to kind of know how to defend yourself.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I think people go in there with the wrong mindset of, I'm going to go in here to beat people up or want to know how to fight. But one, you're putting yourself in those situations anyways. I mean, most of the time, those fights and those instances that I used to get into, I was drinking and at the clubs. I
Yep.
mean, you know, I was out partying.
Yeah, I have a friend I'm actually getting a coffee with tomorrow morning.
Nice.
And so he was originally born in Russia.
Wow.
No, I say that.
Do I know this guy?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he was born in Russia or not. His grandfather, I think his grandfather. Yeah, so I think born in Russia. And I'm pretty sure his grandfather went there and so fled the Nazis.
Wow.
It's Jewish.
Wow.
And but he came over here, and this dude's wickedly brilliant, by the way. And we talked about a lot of this stuff in 2020, and he was like, yeah, I try actively, very, very carefully to make sure that I am in no position where I need to do these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it turns out that when you make sure that you have skills that people want all around the world, and you're one of the best at them, that you can go live wherever you want.
Yeah.
So he's lived in Silicon Valley. He's lived, I mean, like if he was like, hey, I want to go down to Rio de Janeiro, he could find a job,
Yeah.
because when you're good, you're good.
Yeah. That's
So,
true.
And it turns out that unless the whole world goes to hell, that there's massive amounts of of value in being able to say, look, I don't want to have to be in this type of situation. I don't want to be around this area. I want to be in a certain place.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's pretty interesting. Real quick, was there anything that you kind of had coming up that maybe we could kind of fill some people in about what you kind of got planned for the next thing? I mean, just kind of what's the next thing on your list? You got this great book out.
Oh yeah. So I'll be working to schedule a podcast tour here shortly. So the book has been released. I haven't really even launched it.
Right.
To really do like a solid official launch, I would have went out and hopped on a bunch of different blogs and written a bunch of guest articles for magazines and
Yeah.
whatever else. And I didn't do any of that. And I didn't do it because primarily I believe speed is more important than perfection in today's day and age. And I wanted to get this out there. I'd had a note to myself, and the note was just like, dude, people need to hear your message. People need to get this, because I guarantee you that there are people that are going to read this book and it's going to change their life. Like, their life will never be the same. They will implement, they will take action. They will literally put it into action tomorrow, and their life will just be totally transformed.
And they just got to do the work, man.
Yep.
Right?
It's just work. It's just, showing up and doing it daily. And so I pushed it out there. So anyways, I've got that coming up. I'm going to offer several coaching programs, etc. I've been just really swamped with a lot of stuff. So I'll be launching those here in the next few weeks to few months. My brother's going to help me on the fitness program.
Nice,
so
nice.
so there will be a fitness program, which, it's going to be pretty basic, but basic is really what people need. Like, a lot of people don't need anything that's overcomplicated. What they need is consistency.
Yeah, 100%.
And, just having that. And then along with that will be like Zoom coaching calls, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just to help people out, be able to hop on, have a conversation. We can chop it up, deal with whatever. And then I'm going to have a lower end program that will be more community, which honestly, dude, I think that's what we need more than ever.
What's that?
I think community.
Yeah.
I mean, if you and I were talking on a weekly basis, along with 25 other guys who are all company owners, who are all entrepreneurs, who are all business owners, who are all like, hey,
Driven,
motivated, have each other's backs, and also like, hey, we're out to do stuff. We are out to build ourselves. It's not just that. It's that, look, like, we have a mission in the world to make the world a better place. And if we want to make the world a better place, then we have to start by making ourselves a better place. And it's really simple when you get down to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's easy, but it's simple. And, so I think a community is a really big deal. And I think that's something that is hard to find.
Do you think like that's something you're going to want to put a package up together later when you kind of get everything going? And
Yeah, I mean that'll be coming here in the next few weeks. One of the reasons why I think it's what I have to offer is perhaps more unique than the other things in the marketplace is you've got tons of people offering community right now.
Yeah.
And you've got all these guys who are like, dude, if you want to join my community, then here's the doctrine that you have to live by. And here's what you have to be. And it's like, and you have to be a real man or whatever. And it's like, I don't even know what that means. Careful with the plug.
oh yeah, I didn't even see that.
But so why I feel like it's unique is it's one of the most helpful things that we can do is, first of all, inspect our lives and then figure out how to cut through the minutia and actually get to clarity. Because what I've heard this whole conversation from you is it's just a lack of clarity.
For sure.
About, hey, like I should commit to this, that, or whatever. And ultimately it's been this act of not committing. And when you sort of commit to saying, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I'm not going to be where I'm at right now in 5 years from now. And the thing that I decide to do tomorrow does not be the thing that I have to do the next week.
Right.
Given the fact that when you commit to this, you're going to rapidly have a huge influx of information hit you within the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
But in that 3 to 6 month period, you'll gain a lot of knowledge and you'll probably be able to drill down and be like, oh, now I see this right here and I can own this space. But you have to set your parameters. And this is one of the benefits of, I'm kind of circling back to the idea of community.
Yeah.
Is community sort of helps people get clear and say, okay, well, what are your standards? Like one of my standards is I want to be able to live from anywhere and work.
Yeah.
Right. So if I want to do that, then if I'm saying, okay, we're going to have a weekly coaching group here in Dallas. Well, if I'm off living in Mexico, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I have to say, okay, I've got to design a business that I can work from online. It's got to make at least, $1 million within the first 24 months.
Right.
It has to be something that I enjoy doing to a degree. Like I'm not going to do something where I'm tolerated. This coach that I see in Nashville, Coach Bird.
Yeah.
Coach Bird, if you're watching this, what's up?
Shout out to Coach Bird, man.
Yep. Shout out. He says, I want to be where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. And the same is true. It's like, I want to be where I'm celebrated. I want to be with people that are coachable. I want to be with others who are striving to get better. Striving is massively important.
Yeah.
And once you set this sort of clarity, here's what I want to do. I don't mind working and busting my ass for 36 months, for 3 years, right? Maybe 60 months, 5 years. I don't mind busting it really hard for that. But after that, I want to be able to say, hey, I'm going to work really hard 20 hours a week, but the other time that I work, I don't want it to be that hard. So that may look like Andy Frisella in his podcast. Do you think he's like, oh my gosh, I got to really do this? Or is he like, yeah, okay, some days it may be work, but
I get to do this.
Yeah, it's like, man, like how cool is this? And oh gosh, I got to go roll up in my Ferrari or whatever to a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's work, dude. Photo shoots are work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like,
I mean, life is work,
Yeah, it's like, man, I got to go hang with these people. And it's like, yeah, it's work, but cool. And so maybe it's 20 hours a week making the high level decisions, showing up, doing the things that you want. But then it's like, okay, you can do all the other stuff. So I think community is really
a big thing.
I think it's really valuable.
Absolutely.
In helping, other men like yourself say, okay, here's how you do this. Here's how you start to whittle it down. Because if you don't have that framework and that structure, it's like nobody teaches you that. Nobody teaches you, oh, well, why don't you try putting some parameters there?
Yeah.
Like parameters are so important. And like, I can't tell you how many people are scared to say no. And like the process of life, the process of deciding what you want to do is the process of deciding what you want to say no to. And by the way, for people watching, when you say yes to anything, you say no
to something else.
No, not just something else, an infinite number of other things.
Right.
Because yes is a responsibility to take care of that one thing. So it's no to everything else.
What's an example you'd give with that? If you were to say yes to something instead of saying no, like, do you have an example you could give?
Yeah, absolutely. If we say we're going to go get pizza tomorrow night, then
You just committed to that.
yeah, I committed to that, and I can't go out somewhere else. I can't be in two places at once. I can't do whatever, and there's choices, there's payoffs, right? I mean, maybe you go get pizza, but you were planning on perhaps going to the movies alone.
Okay.
And then a meteor strikes that or whatever. I mean, like
meteor?
Yeah, a meteor. like we don't know what's going to happen in life, but invariably, I find people are very uncomfortable placing constraints on their life. And what helped me so much was learning the value of constraints, because your world actually gets bigger when you make it smaller. You have way more freedom when you place these constraints on your life. Because here's the thing. Right now, you're like, well, I could do anything. And you have 10 million different options.
Of course.
And so when you start placing constraints, you say, well, I want to be able to make $1 million in 24 months. It's like, oh, well, I can't be any sort of adjuster. I can't go work down the road. I can't go work in accounting. I can't go work wherever. Like, I can't do any of these things.
So you're saying,
like, it literally takes you from 10 million potential things that you could do down to 50,000.
Okay. And then once you get from there, where would you go?
Well, and then you say, well, I want to be able to work from anywhere.
Okay. And that would do what?
Well, that's another constraint.
Yeah, but what would that look like? Are you saying
so think of it like you're searching at something like Bass Pro Shop or a store, right? And you're putting filters in place, right? So you can search the whole store, but you can't search by search terms. So you're just placing constraints. So the first constraint are you want men's clothing, right?
Okay.
And then you say, oh, well, I want men's clothing that's for winter. And then you say, I want men's clothing for winter that's waterproof. And then I want men's clothing for winter that's waterproof and insulated with Gore-Tex.
Okay. And then how much more niche could you get? Maybe add some camo to it or something?
Well, and then you could say, well, I want men's whatever I said, all the way up to upper body, shirts or pants or underwear or whatever, heated underwear.
Yeah, of course. And then how would that, I mean, going back to, just so everybody's kind of following along, I think that's a great example. It's just kind of filtering that out. And then you would go from making $1 million a year or whatever that filter is, and narrowing that down or putting those constraints like you're talking about down to, okay, I want to make $1 million a year.
Yep.
And then I want to go to being able to work from anywhere in the world.
Yep.
And then at that point, that kind of helps your listeners and your viewers understand on how to kind of choose that niche.
Yep.
And make that decision. I think that's a great example.
Yeah. So the more clear that you can get with those constraints, the better. And here's the other side to that. You don't know what you don't know, right? So you say, I've come up with these constraints, and I want to be able to work hard for 3 to 5 years, but I have to have enough growth in whatever. So like, I primarily like to work with people who are entrepreneurs and business owners, because they can make real changes, real impacts. Of course, if you're an entrepreneur and maybe you have a stake in the business, then that works as well. But regardless, once you place those constraints in there and you say, okay, well, now I want to be able to do something that I can scale to a certain degree, right? And you have to say, well, do I want to scale through automation or through humans, right? Because if you say, hey, I'm going to start a brick and mortar store, well, guess what? You have humans involved, and
they're not that reliable. Having employees.
It's non-trivial minutia.
Yeah, having an employee-based business is really difficult.
Yeah, it's not difficult. It's just extra logistics. It's extra work.
For sure.
And so maybe you say, well, I want to be able to scale this thing with as few of people as possible. So you say, okay, well, I don't want to have to hire graphic designers. I want to be able to hire them out. I don't want to necessarily have to have an in-house accountant. I want to be able to hire it out. So how do I automate some of this stuff? And then you're able to do huge numbers while still automating your system. But anyways, so these are constraints, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got all these constraints listed out. And maybe you list out 30 different constraints. The more, the freaking better.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, dude, I only know 3 things that I can do. And you say, cool. But then what you can also do is you can take that, and then you can go to a group of other men that are all successful. And you can say, hey guys, here's my constraints. Would each of you be willing to give me 3 to 5 suggestions on areas that could potentially meet these constraints? Because here's the deal. If all you know is like, oh, I could only be a fitness trainer, or I could only do this, or I could only do that, and that's all the only option that you have, you're not going to see outside of that. You can't see outside the window, or you can't see outside the frame when you're inside. So what you can do is these constraints, if you go and you ask 50 guys or 25 guys, hey, can you give me 3 to 5 things that are potentials? Well, if you do that and you have no constraints, you get anything. It's like, oh, just go start an ice cream business, right? I mean, people make millions of dollars selling ice cream, and coffee and all sorts of other things. You can do literally anything and make millions of dollars.
So what would you say just to some of your viewers if somebody isn't an entrepreneur, an intrapreneur? Do you have any advice for those kind of people? I don't think everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
But they could be an intrapreneur, and I never heard that before.
Yeah, I think entrepreneurship's great. I mean, it's for people who don't necessarily want to have to be writing the checks, have to be sweating all the stuff.
Can you kind of elaborate on what an intrapreneur is?
Yeah, an entrepreneur is somebody who basically has an entrepreneurial mindset that is inside of a company. Sometimes they may have a stake, or they may not. They may have, an interest. But they have enough autonomy with the ownership and leadership to actually be able to fill multiple roles. Entrepreneurs, they have to problem solve left and right, so you may be doing technology stuff, but also accounting stuff, but, uploading and like answering the phones and whatever else. And, that can be really cool being part of a team. And, one of the things about small businesses is their ability to be flexible, to be agile, to be really quick. And so what you see with a lot of larger companies is sometimes they get a little ossified or calcified, so they just have these regimented structures, and they can't maintain the unique adaptability that a smaller team can. And if you're a solopreneur, dude, it's freaking lonely.
Yeah.
Like, it's lonely. It's tough. You're like, you don't have anybody to talk to, and there's also not a lot of other people to talk to.
Yeah. I mean, for some people that I've met and I've been around, they enjoy working for a company, and they just want to move up within a company. And to me, I've heard of the word solopreneur, or not solopreneur, but intrapreneur. And that was interesting when I heard about that, is wanting to, you found a company you really like. And I think a lot of people hear these, what are they called? Keywords, hot words. Hot words, is that what people use, like hot words and
keywords?
No, I think it's hot words. I think they use hot words, and they'll be like entrepreneur.
Oh yeah,
entrepreneur. Sure. Are you an entrepreneur? It's like, dude, not everybody wants to start a freaking business. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people out there, because if everybody was a freaking entrepreneur, we'd have no damn businesses.
Well, and entrepreneurs, a lot of them don't start businesses.
What do you think they do?
I think they just say that they're an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, that's the new keyword. And everybody's a coach too.
Yeah,
exactly. And has no, and has, I mean, I can't say no, but a lot of them don't have the grit that you have with learning as much as you have and implementing it yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. Not everybody has to be the smartest person to be the most successful.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people do is they want to move up in their company or within a group, and I think a lot of people use that hot word entrepreneur, and it doesn't resonate with a lot of people, because I mean, it does. Don't get me wrong, because a lot of people have that self drive or whatever, but for everyone, it's not the same. I mean, everybody can't be the same. There has to be people that are workers.
Yep.
And I think one big key missing factor is that a lot of people don't appeal to these people that, a lot of people are comfortable making $80,000 a year. Well, you know what? I don't think Caelin's whole program is necessarily designed. Now, don't get me wrong. I think making a lot of money is great, but I think developing yourself is the key.
Yep.
And I think that makes you what? A better husband, a better dad, a better brother, a better sister, or whatever that is. And it doesn't have to just fall into this one category of just being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I want to be clear that it's not really about that at all. It's about picking whichever areas of life that you want to excel at and actually being comfortable being there.
Yeah.
Because people should all over themselves all the time.
How so? What do you mean by that?
They should all over themselves. I should.
Should. Oh, I thought you said the other word.
Yeah, should.
Okay.
They should all over themselves.
I like that. Where'd you hear that? Is that yours?
No, I originally heard that coined by Ed Secoda, legendary trend trader.
Wow.
And
look at this guy over here, freaking bookmaster. Should all over yourself.
Yeah. So, but genuinely, for those watching, you probably do it all the time. I do it still.
Of course.
It's hard not to. Yeah, it's like, oh, well, I probably should do that, or I need to do that, or yeah.
And what would you change it to instead of the word should?
I think just being comfortable. Like I see people all the time. They're like, oh, I should walk more. I should stretch more. I should exercise more. I should eat healthier. I should whatever. And it's like, maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't.
What if you change it to a must?
What you definitely may consider doing is not shooting all over yourself and getting comfortable one way or the other.
Yeah. Now I've heard people say instead, I think it's the phrase should, but somebody, I think it may be Tony Robbins that talks about it's a must. When you change that to a must, how do you feel about that, Caelin?
Yeah, so I talk about that in the book. And the process is you can't optimize for everything.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, well, I should do this and I should do that. And Tony Robbins is like, things aren't going to change until you get to where it must change. And that is true. He's talking about threshold. And he's talking about that moment when in your life, in a single snap, everything changes and your whole brain just rewires itself. You're like, I can't take this anymore. I'm not going to do it. Boom, I'm done. And you go on and you lose 100 pounds in 3 months.
Done it. Not in 3 months, but a year.
Yeah.
And I put it back on.
Yeah.
About half of it.
Boom.
Yeah. Dropping bombs.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brad.
Yeah. Dropping bombs to Bradley. The real Bradley. Listen up, folks. We got something real special for you today.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, man.
No, so I talk about it in my book, actually.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about is actually being comfortable saying no to. So
no to what?
You don't have to shit all over yourself. You can't optimize for everything.
Yeah.
Like we can't all spend 6 hours every morning waking up doing cold showers or cold baths.
Yeah.
Spend Wim Hof breathing, meditation, grounding, PEMF mats, red light therapy, yada. I can literally spend a whole day doing this stuff to get me to optimal.
Yeah, wait, you got to wake up at 5 a.m. and you got to do all this stuff before 9 o'clock. It's freaking noon by the time you finish that shit.
Dude,
there's no way, bro.
At like 5 p.m. I'm like, all right, I've had a great warm up.
I got to go to bed at 7. I got to go to bed at 7 to start this over. I cannot stay up past 7. I have to get my solid 8 hours of sleep.
1 hour of work.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm over here. I'm being my best self. I am crushing it.
Yeah, freaking regimented to the death, dude.
Yeah. No, but okay, so you can't optimize too early. You can't optimize too much. And so you have to make decisions in life, and there are trade-offs, and you have to understand and be comfortable with that. And the problem that I see so many people is they're not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
They don't own it. They don't own the fact that they're not in that season of their life where they're going to be able to walk more or stretch more or, whatever it may be. Like I think we can usually make healthier eating options, that sort of thing. But there are certain stages in your life where it's okay to just get comfortable and be like, man, that's not in the cards for me right now.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm in a grind phase. Like I'm trying to do big shit.
Yeah.
Like that does I don't have the time and the luxury to, people are like, oh, well, why don't you go out or whatever? And I could be like, oh yeah, I guess I really should do that. Yeah, it'd be really nice to do that or whatever. It's like, no, like I'm totally comfortable saying this is not in the realm of possibility for me because I have chosen to do this one thing. So I am comfortable saying no to all the other things.
Right.
And that's actually like, it's something that people don't teach you about in life. I was never taught about, like literally not feeling like I'm missing out doing a bunch of stuff because I've chosen to focus on something. I've chosen that this is more important than the other things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Like people should all over themselves and it's incongruent communication because they're then telling themselves, they're telling their mind, oh, I should do this, right? Oh, I should let myself do this. I should have a little bit of cake. I should have that Starbucks. Oh, I should, treat myself because this person said they treated themselves. And you're like, no, I've got a goal to do, and you've committed, and you've said that goal is more important than anything else. And so you've drawn a line in the sand, and you said, here are my fucking priorities. And then you have non-negotiable standards that you live by, because everybody else is like, well, yeah, you drew that line in the sand, but let's keep it casual, bro. Like, you can cheat this one time.
Yeah, right.
You can do it. Dude, like what do you want?
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know. Like, people just didn't, either I missed this stuff, nobody taught me. I have no idea. But I hadn't heard people say it this way, that it didn't resonate to me. So when I deep dived on all of this stuff and like really started, learning on a deep level, and then having my own thoughts about it, because I just like really thought through a lot of stuff, it was like, oh my gosh, like I just keep doing all this stuff that's sabotaging myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Hell no. I don't think it was good.
So, rant over.
No, man, that was great. I really appreciate you sharing that. I think that was freaking great. Well, what do you think? How do you think we did for our first one, man?
It was fun. I just realized that my headphones were on backwards.
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah, couldn't hear it.
No, I think that was great, man. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of value out of this.
Before we wrap this up, guys,
What you got?
I want us to take 10 or 15 minutes and chop it up and actually be funny, because you're such a funny dude.
Man, putting me on the spot to be funny, I don't even know what to be funny.
You're so funny, and you've. I hit roll on there, and you're like, "Oh, serious." Let me
well,
go
man,
next time I'm not even telling you when I hit record.
Yeah,
I'm just
don't do
doing
that.
It.
Yeah, just don't do that, and then I'll just be like super laid back.
Yeah, I mean, I legitimately think if you wanted to do a stand-up piece, you could.
So many people have told me that.
Did you have you watched Joe Rogan's stand-up piece?
He's all right.
Really?
He's okay.
I never watched him.
He's all right.
But I turned it on last night for the first time. And for those of you watching, I don't really watch TV. I kind of like just do other stuff.
Yeah.
But I had a moment, and I turned it on for like 30 minutes. It was pretty funny. He talked about some stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I've thought about doing stand-up bits before. The only thing, man, is I'm a big guy. I'm 6'6" and like 282 pounds, 284. I mean,
Dude, we're not that much different in weight,
bro.
I'm up at 250 to 255 and be fluctuating between.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy for you. 255? Yeah, you're way more buff than you used to be. I think so. You're pretty jacked. But no, man. Yeah, I've thought about doing some comedy stuff, but the thing is I curse too much when I do it, and I can't, and I'm not supposed to do that anymore. You know, because
yeah.
I'm too careless with my mouth, and the things that I say, they're funny.
Yeah,
they're also very inappropriate given my faith.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
That's
fair.
You know, so yeah, that's kind of a fine line. You know, I mean, I don't mind being funny, but there's times that I just didn't really feel that funny tonight. I mean, I didn't have anything funny. I mean, we were talking about some stuff like Andrew Tate. I was gonna get a WWE belt.
Yeah. So I had somebody comment on my TikToks, and they were like, Andrew Tate knockoff. Then that's why I've been wearing the glasses all night, because I thought.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, because apparently nobody can do anything after Andrew Tate, and I don't know.
Dude, I'm
pretty funny,
almost certain that I cut my hair and did this beard 5-6 years before Andrew Tate even existed.
What? No way.
Dude. No, dude.
No
I
way.
started way before Andrew Tate, and I swear.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he's been doing that. I mean, I seen him on that the Survivor thing or whatever, and he had a clean shaven face. So I mean,
I heard Bradley say apparently he got heckled online because he was calling it, like he made a reference, and he talked to somebody. He was like, "Oh man, they're a brokey."
Oh
yeah,
people
like, "Oh, you're Andrew Tate." He was like, "Man, I've been saying that since before he was born."
Wow, dude, you got to know.
Kind of funny.
You know how impactful you are when we're just kind of starting out.
Yeah,
and that is a person that's brought up.
Yeah,
dude,
it's
that's extremely influential.
Yeah.
That is an influencer.
Yeah.
Like the definition of that is the guy touches all platforms. I mean, from everybody that doesn't like him, that does like him, that appreciates him, that, they're going to kind of bring it up. I mean, that's, dude, to me.
I mean, love him or hate him, he's interesting. I'll say that.
If people are talking about you, dude, you got something going on.
I mean, I wasn't really planning on covering this, but you know,
We don't need to.
I personally think the dude has like a genius level intellect. I mean,
Oh,
he
for
is
sure.
wickedly smart.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like wickedly smart.
Oh yeah. No, I just
I don't necessarily agree with all of his stuff. But
absolutely not. You can't agree with somebody's everything. Then you would have your then you wouldn't have your own opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you agree with if I just sat here the whole time and agree with every single thing that you said, I wouldn't be my own person.
Yep.
You know, I think you got to have your own opinions, and you got to be able to think for yourself.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch that podcast that he did with it's like Not Your Mother's House or whatever it is. It was pretty funny.
Really?
I gotta say, I didn't realize that he genuinely is a pretty funny guy.
Really?
And yeah, he has this like, so you don't really maybe pick up on it as much because he doesn't have a British accent, but he did live over in England. And so I wonder if he maybe caught some of that witty banter, or if that's just part of like, you know, his intellect or whatever it may be. But I think he uses a lot of hyperbole, and people don't realize when he's being hyperbolic. Like they don't realize it. And and he's just sitting there and he just wrecks people with it. And I'm just like, sometimes you can just watch him, you know, like the sparkle in the eye where he's just like laughing on the inside, but like just giving that like pissed off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny. No, we'll do more of these, man. But by the time that I leave, and
do we have
we'll do some funny ones.
Do we have some comments from?
I don't know.
Do we even have anybody watching still?
I don't think so. Not on the live. I don't think we have anybody watching us on the live anymore. Let me look. Yeah, we've been on here for a hot minute. Yeah, it said 22 others joined.
Oh,
but I don't think that's current. It's only me on here. So
let me see.
We had 22 people come through, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's great.
Cool. We got anybody here?
It's just me.
Just post
naked pic. Sorry, that's not very Christian of me to say. It's just me. I just say.
Man, it doesn't show when they leave.
Oh, really? It says, see, when I join, it says 22 others joined.
Yeah, I mean, I see people join, but I'm like, anybody, if you're still here, give a heads up.
Yeah, it shows me only having one person on, and I think that's me.
I've seen it.
And I left.
Okay, well, apparently our live is
Dead.
Dead.
No, we better tell them bye, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if how long were we doing this? An hour or so? 2 hours?
How long was this live? I don't even know. It doesn't even show me how long I've
That's
been
crazy.
Here. So for everybody on the camera here, because we got this here and then we got this camera here. So for everybody on the camera, we were on Instagram Live because couldn't figure out how to YouTube it.
Yeah.
Apparently, I had to get my account set up, and I did not do that. So
It's all right.
that was cool. That was fun.
That was a good time, man.
That was great.
I really enjoyed that. I feel like there's a lot of really good bits in there.
Yep.
I definitely think that there's a lot of stuff you can use.
Yep.
And attract more people and talk about your message, bro.
I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do one where I'm kind of a little more careless. I'm starting to get tired though, man. I go to bed at 10 o'clock. I got like 50 regimens to do in the morning.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just kidding, man. No, man, it was a pleasure, bro.
All right.
See you, bro.